Hey guys, it's Christian with Wizarden.com and Team Rogue Tech here. Since Josh is busy playing in a preliminary Pro Tour qualifier to try and get him an invite to the regionals, last I heard they were top 8 in the event, you have me to do a video for you. This time around, since Fate isn't quite released on Magic Online yet, I'm just going to be doing the good old-fashioned 3 Cons of Tarkir draft. See if we can get something going. I don't normally do Swiss drafts, but I will openly say that Josh is a significantly better drafter than me, and so just to ensure that I have 3 videos or 3 matches for you, I'm gonna do the Swiss this go around and see if we can get that going. So with that being said, let's see if we can build us a decent deck here. So High Sentinels is pretty big game. If you've ever played against the card or played with it, it's pretty decent. Being one color as well leaves me open to go other ways, so it's probably going to be the pick here. Other honorable mentions, so to speak, we do have Kintree Invocation, which kind of on when you look at it, doesn't seem like it's all that great, but at the same time, if my favorite play in Cons Limited ever is to go, what is it? The 0/4 Warrior Disowned Ancestor for on 1 black, and then turn 2 play Green Source Kintree Invocation, a 4/4 on turn 2 is definitely nothing to shake a stick at, but that's a bit of an investment for first pick. It's just one of my favorite interactions. Misfire Weaver, also really underrated. It is a morpher, so it does fit the curve on 3. It also fits the curve on 4 if we do want to hard cast it. And it is a 3/1 flyer, which is always pretty decent. And then, of course, other one I want to talk about is Mardu Horde Chief, which, if you've ever done this limited format, you know is pretty boss. But yeah, definitely going to be High Sentinels on this one. All right, so we got a couple of picks here. I'm leaning towards Einok Bonkin because it is a really good 2-drop. 2-drops are pretty important in this format. Hardened Scales, if you're going to go kind of like the balls deep, let's outlast some guys. This is definitely not a bad card. I've gone deep in that deck before, and it is actually really powerful. It does require a lot of pieces, and again, this early, I don't know if that's where I want to be. Jeskai Charm, also a very, very powerful card, but pigeonholing yourself into that 3-color combination this early isn't something that I ever want to do, so I'm going to stay away from it because of that. Bloodfire Expert's pretty meh. If you want one, we can always pick it up late. Feeder Resistance, honestly, it is probably the best common in this entire format. I mean, it's worth picking up, but I don't know. It just seems like a commitment I don't really want to make. Einok Bonkin goes into a lot of decks, same as Feeder Resistance, but I just want to make sure that at the end of this we have enough creatures, because I found myself without enough, and Einok's a pretty big game. So Ponyback Brigade, honorable mention there as well. Alright, so we got Abzan Battle Priest, which is pretty house. He's easily my favorite outlaster. He comes down to turn after your morphers. All counters have lifelink, outlast for 1 white, which is pretty big. So chances are I am taking that. Another Kintree Invocation, Nomad Outposts. I suppose I should say that 3-color mana fixing is definitely something you do want to pick up. It's probably not the worst pickup, but we don't know if we're going to be Mardu, if we're going to be Abzan, or even Jeskai at this point, so I just kind of want to stay on the road we're on. Disdainful Stroke's pretty lackluster. Jeskai Student's pretty eh. Summit Prowler's pretty boss if we can go the all-in red strategy, which, taking a look at our two white picks, isn't where we're at. So yeah, let's just pick up this Abzan Battle Priest and let's move on with our lives. Ride Down, pretty big game. Not going to lie. I guess if you're in the aggressive deck, that is. Watcher of the Roost, definitely not terrible either. It is a morpher, fits on the curve. It unmorphs on the cheap. And then, of course, it is a 2/1 evasive creature, and the 2 life gain definitely ain't bad either. I'm a big fan of Hooting Mandrills, although I don't feel like we're going down that way. Ponyback Brigade is probably one of the best morphers, in my opinion, that's not named Woolly Loxodon, so it's probably not a bad one to pick up, but I feel like if these are going this late, I guess this isn't really late, but if they're not getting snapped up real quick, I feel like we have an opportunity to get more later. honestly, I feel like I should just take Ride Down. I feel like I should be that aggressive guy. It's really good removal. I'm in white. It's not a stretch to go into red. It's actually a decent color combination, although it does kind of pigeonhole us into aggro. But hey, maybe we'll get some Mardu going on. I'm going to snap up that Ride Down. Maybe that was wrong, but YOLO. And it was wrong, because here we have an Abzan Guide, which is easily the best morpher in the set, so I can't not take it. We also have a debilitating injury. Snowhorn Rider, we're nowhere near that. Gearmark Swiftwing, never had great success with that. Sage Eye Harrier is fine. We're nowhere near green. Right now to pick up a... Yeah, if we're going to pick him up, it'd be way late. I mean, I could snap up an Active Treason, but Abzan Guide is just too good not to take it. So I'm going to take it and hope I don't just regret that Ride Down decision later. But hey, stop somebody else from getting in. I've been blown out by it too many times, so let it go. Let's see, this pack's pretty... Well, we have Assault Road Patrol, which isn't terrible. It's not really where I'm looking to be. Canyon Lurkers, I'm not really looking to be in red, I guess. I guess it's still up in the air. We can easily go Mardu or Abzan at this point. And if we could stay 2 colors, that'd be really dope, but, you know, that's a wish and a hope. I think right now the safe pick is Salt Road Patrol. It's not terrible, so I think we'll probably snap that up. Briber's Purse and Quiet Contemplation, although the Quiet Contemplation Goblin Slide deck is tons of fun. Not quite where we want to be. Einok Tracker. The red's looking pretty open. All these late Ponyback Brigades, I might just start snapping them up. Just that way, if we do end up going that route, Mardu can be really powerful, and it's something we can be rewarded for being in later. So I think I'm just going to snap up the Ponyback Brigade. I mean, if the other ones end up wheeling and I snap up quite a few of them, that's definitely not a bad place to be. Summit Prowler is always good as well. But I'll take the Ponyback Brigade. Maybe we can kind of segue our way into Mardu. Whole lot of blue. Blue tends to be open in this format unless you're really being teamer. I haven't had a great blue deck ever. I mean, like the light tempo plays in a big green style build with teamer is really good. I'm a big fan of the card Crippling Chill in those style of decks. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to go ahead and snap up the Whirlwind Adept just because Monastery Flock's lackluster, Waterworld's lackluster, Treasure Cruise and limited, I mean, sure, but Whirlwind Adept can be a big pain in my ass with the Hexproof and Prowess on 5 if somebody does end up in that deck, so into the sideboard it goes. Rakshasa Secrets, not a terrible sideboard card. Erase, also not a terrible sideboard card. I think I'll take... That's a tough one. I'm going to take the Erase for the sideboard. Maybe I should snap off this Blue Morpher just so a teamer player doesn't get it. But I think Erase for the sideboard is probably the better pick there. And what was I saying? Late Ponyback Brigades. We'll take them. These guys are pretty banging. So I'm going to snap up the Ponyback Brigade here. Dutiful Return's also not terrible if we did end up being in the Abzan deck. Just having that little bit of late recursion. Not terrible, just kind of fill your hand back up after the game's gone long. But anyway, Ponyback Brigade it is. Abzan Guide into the sideboard. Summit Prowler, not a terrible card. Sultai Scavenger, also not a terrible card. I think I want to say base red white. I don't know if Sultai Scavenger is the right card, but a 4/3 for 4, definitely not the worst thing. We'll take another Salt Road Patrol. Hopefully we're not playing it. We'll take Active Treason. Teamer Banner to the sideboard, and Island to the sideboard. All right. So we're kind of really base white right now. We have a lot of 4-drops. I'd like, I guess Ponyback Brigade is a morpher, so it does go in the 3-drop spot. I like our 2-drop and Einok Bondkin. Maybe we can pick up some other sweet stuff. There's a lot of powerful stuff in white in this format for sure. So us being there is definitely a good thing. Alright, we have Teamer Ascendancy, not what we're looking for. Brave the Sands, not quite what we're looking for. Nomad Outpost, I mean, worst case scenario, getting that 3-color fixing is always good. I hate to first pick it, but this pack overall looks pretty weak. We have Soul Tide Charm, not what we're looking for. Long Shot Squat, obviously not. Marty Warshrieker is not a bad pick, but you typically want to take on commons over commons. And then Russia Battle's fine. I've actually... Russia Battle... I feel like in that Warriors deck, Russia Battle is great. I think our deck would probably rather have something like a Trumpet Blast, as we're not too heavy on Warriors. We're not the Black-White Warriors deck by any stretch. Sage Eye Harrier, not terrible. Snow Rider is good in those colors. Throttle, actually not a bad pickup here. I think Throttle might be the pick if we are segueing into black. It's pretty good removal. I don't know. It's probably pack one. It's probably first pickable in this pack since nothing else is good. Yeah, it's between that and Nomad Outpost, and I'll take the Throttle. Alright, what do we got? We got another Abzan guide, which is kind of... It tells me that probably Abzan may still be open. We have Debilitating Injury, another really great card. I might end up snapping up the Debilitating Injury. You know, it's almost worth it to take the Abzan guy, but I don't want to be this wishy-washy about my picks. Barrage of Boulder is also very good. Just Guy Student, really lackluster, but it is another 2-drop for us, and we are kind of hurting for 2s. I think I'm going to snap up the Debilitating Injury. Just being able to kill the Morph is a pretty big game. I do want to mention that I love the Savage Punch deck, the Green-Red Savage Punch. That is probably my favorite deck in this format, but as you can see, we're definitely nowhere near that. I'm going to snap up the Debilitating Injury, and then I'm kind of going to drag back on any sort of removal and just try and get some dudes in here. I mean, we have like Saltwater Patrol, High Sentinels, nothing really all that great. Ooh, Roar the Challenge. Ooh, we have another Ponyback Brigade. And kind of what I said, I'm no problem just snapping up Ponyback Brigades. Definitely a really good card. Other than that, if we were in that green deck, we had Savage Punch and Alpine Grizzly, Aurora the Challenge. Somebody's going to build a pretty boss green deck. But I'm thinking for us right now, it's just another Ponyback Brigade. Windscarred Crag and our colors on a bad pickup. Karoo Bloodsucker is fine. I like Karoo Bloodsucker more in the Abzan style decks, just because you tend to have a lot more dudes with the toughness 4 or greater. So we'll just snap up our third Ponyback Brigade. And hey, another Abzan Battle Priest. This guy's a house. I'm definitely taking him. Other cards I mentioned, Goblin Slide. Again, we're not going to be in that deck. We're not in green. Rite of the Serpent is fine, but I wouldn't pick it this early. Rakshasa Secrets, again. Excuse me, for the board. Sage Eye Harrier, lackluster. The Trumpet Blast is really the only other card out of here that I would want to take. But from my experience in Limited is typically Trumpet Blast will go late. Of course, it depends on what the other drafters are trying to do, but definitely Abzan Battle Priest, we can move one of these Saltwater Patrols to the board. We really don't want to be playing as many as we are of them. Let's see what we got. So green, even though Tuskar Captain is exceptionally good, I'd be more than happy to play that guy. Let's see. I mean, really just the Ride Down and the Ponyback Brigades are kind of what's pigeonholing us into red right now, being more Mardu than we are Abzan. Tuskar Captain is really good, and it's easily the best card in this pack from what I can see. Swift Kick is fine, but again, we're not in that deck. Crippling Chill, like I said, in the Team Redux is fine. And then I'm just going to snap up the Tuskar Captain. It's easily the best card in the pack. If we don't end up picking up enough Marty stuff, we might be able to make a splash, although I don't want to for Ponyback Brigades, or just kind of go back into the Abzan guide plan. Speak of the devil, Abzan guide. Let's see. I'm really torn. I hate being this torn in this between two clans here. Abzan's looking like it's pretty strong. Cut the Ponyback Brigades, put in the 2 Abzan guides, take out the Active Treason Summit for all the Ride Down. I think Abzan's probably the stronger deck. I'm going to take the Abzan guide because I mean, Mardu Warshrieker is fine. I think we're pretty heavy on 4s right now. So I'm going to take the Abzan guide. If we don't play him, worse things could happen. If we do end up playing him or segueing into Abzan, I'll be really happy that we did pick those up. let's see. We got Become Immense, pretty decent finisher. Barrage of Boulders, if we stay in the Marty plan, definitely not terrible. Disdainful Stroke, we're not in it. Jeskai Banner, we're not in it. Jungle Hall is probably not a bad pickup just to have access in the colors. Sagu Archer is another Morpher. He fits on the 5 spot on the curve if we ever want to hard cast him. And then we have Shambling Attendants. I think I'm going to take... This is a tough one. Let's see. I do like having at least one Become Immense in my deck. But I'm going to take the Sagu Archer. Just so if we do end up in that Abzan deck... We do get to take advantage of him, so let's move him to the sideboard for now. War Behemoth's not terrible. I know there's one thing I know for certain, and that's that we're in white. So it's pretty safe to kind of stay there. Snowhorn Rider's not good. Rakshasa's nah. We're not in the colors. Bloodfire Expert's probably fine if we end up staying at Mardu. It gives us a decent 3-drop, but I don't think we have enough to make him pay off. I'm just going to take the War Behemoth. It's another morph. Playing a 1-over or what have you isn't terrible, so we'll take him. Mardu Warshrieker. This is where I want to pick up Mardu Warshriekers. Like I said, we're pretty heavy on the 4, but we'll take it for now. Windstorms, decent sideboard card, Absent Banner. I like Barrage of Boulders a lot, especially if we find somebody who's doing what we're doing. So I'll take the Barrage. Probably won't play it main board. Definitely a sideboard card. Roar of the Challenge is an excellent finisher if we do end up in Abzan. Throwing a Roar of the Challenge on any BS guy and then swinging through for lethal wins games. So I'm taking it. Move to sideboard. Move to sideboard. Not taking Goblin Slide. As cute as it is, we're not doing it. I'm going to take the 6/5 Tusk Colossodon. It's pretty vanilla, but you have to realize that these games typically end between turns 11 and 15, so you have 100 years, so you're going to get there. I'll take the Abzan Banner for the board. Why not? Feed the Clan for the board, and we'll take a Mountain. Ugin's Nexus, blah, what a waste of a rare spot. Death Frenzy, pretty mediocre, especially when we have a lot of little guys. We got Dragon's Grip, which is pretty fine, actually. I'm a big fan of Dragon's Grip. Misfire Weaver, Abzan Guide, on Inoc Tracker, Crippling Chill. Mardu Horde Chief. Mardu Horde Chief is a really good 3. I feel like with all of our morphers, we're probably fine there. I think... this might be the turning point for us, because I think if I pick the Mardu Horde Chief, he goes into either the Abzan deck or the Mardu deck easily. He goes better so into the Mardu deck. If I take the Abzan Guide, it's pretty much cementing the fact that I'm playing Abzan. That's tough. Yeah, you know what? YOLO. I think I'm... God, I hate to be this wishy-washy, but I'm going to have to take the Abzan Guide. I ended up going to the Abzan deck. Honestly, I think it's just a little bit stronger than the Mardu deck I had going on. So I'm going to take the Abzan. Arc Lightning, excellent removal. Master of the Way, not our colors. Alabaster Kieran, I'm probably going to snap it up. Even though it doesn't look like much, this card just closes out games. It just gets in for 2 repeatedly. And it's not terrible. Alpine Grizzly, if we were going Savage Punch, would be sweet, but we're not, so hey, here we are. Trumpet Blast, we're not there. Throttle, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind picking up another Throttle at this point since we're not going to have access to Ride Down anymore. But I'm going to take the Kieran. It's just, I can't pass it up. The card just seals out games. Chief, ooh, that's a Chief of the Edge. We're not in the Chief of the Edge deck. Mardu Rough Rider is good if we're in the Mardu deck, but again, that's still kind of up in the air. Inoc Tracker, not where I want to be. I almost want to just hate this Chief of the Edge because that Warriors deck is just so good. But I think I'm going to take the Mardu Rough Rider. Like I said, we're probably not in the Mardu deck unless something happens, but I don't mind taking it from somebody else. And if we end up there, we end up there. Another Active Treason. Burn Away is not terrible. A lot of blue. Assault Road Patrol, we don't want to be there. Krumar Bondkin's incredibly mediocre. Huh. I don't know where I want to be. I almost kind of want to snap up this Active Treason, but that's no reason to pick it this early. Burn Away is a really decent card. I think, man, I feel like we might be getting heavy on 3s, but I'll take the Krumar Bondkin. It's just another morpher. It'll fit in the curve better. Let's see, we got Jungle Hollow, another Active Treason. Witness of the Agents is never terrible. Tusk Colossadon, I actually like this guy a lot. If we're in the Abzan deck, just having big stompy stuff is always good times. Ride the Serpent at this point isn't terrible removal either. I might want to take it over the Tusk, because I feel like he'll probably wheel. And having one Ride of the Serpent's never bad, just making sure that you have a removal spell that kills anything is always solid. So at this point, I'm probably going to snap up Ride of the Serpent. Jungle Hollow is not a bad pickup here either, but I feel like we're much more heavy green-white if we're going into the Abzan deck, and black more so as a splash that I guess having the dual lands is pretty important, but I'm not high prioritizing them in this deck by any stretch, as you can see. And here we go, we can pick up a Jungle Hollow now. I don't have a need for another War Behemoth. Opulent Palace, is this better than Jungle Hollow? No. In my deck, probably not. I'm not splashing blue for anything. I'm just going to take the Jungle Hollow. Just nice to have a few of these, I suppose. So here we got another Abomination Duel, Sultai Soothsayer, not in those colors, blah, 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 blah. Active Treason, another Ride of the Serpent, Skull King, Trumpet Blast. I'm going to take, where am I at? So you're actually in the sideboard. You're actually in the sideboard. Be in the sideboard. 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 I'm going to take the Ride of the Serpent. Alright, so now I'll pick up a Long Shot Squad. Not a bad pickup. There's something else to go in the 4 spot. And it's got Outlast. That's always good. I think Death Frenzy is not bad. In this case, since I ended up in the Abzan deck, it's not bad as a sideboard card against the early aggressive decks. Although it does come down on 5, but that's probably fine. So I'll take a Death Frenzy for my board. Why not? Defiant Strike, Molten Snakeskin, Trumpet Blast. Defiant Strike's not all that great. Molten Snakeskin actually isn't bad, especially if you can strap it on a Kieran, but I feel like we don't have enough evasion to kind of make that work. I'm going to take a Trumpet Blast. I'm going to put it in my sideboard just because those decks that end up being able to pick up those Trumpet Blasts at the end, I've actually built a deck in Limited that had like 4 or 5 Trumpet Blasts in it just because like the last picture is all Trumpet Blasts, and even just a subpar right aggressive deck, if it's got that many Trumpet Blasts, it can definitely see a lot of games, so not a bad pick. Inoc Tracker is terrible. I'm just going to put it in my sideboard. What? So there's definitely not a Just Guy player at the board because these free weapon masters are insane. So I'm not going to let somebody get rewarded, so I'm going to add it to my sideboard. Sage Eye Harrier, not terrible. Move to the board. We Fade, again, definitely nobody in blue. And a Plains. You know, that doesn't even need to bother going to my sideboard. I'm going to play a Plains, so... So let's see if we can get a deck together that can squeeze out some games here. So let's get this going. So we're on Abzan Guide 1, Abzan Guide 2. I'm going to move all of you down 1. No, god damn it. Sorry, it's just going to drive me insane. Okay, So we have our 2s. Let's get our 3s in here. So Abzan Guide as a morpher is really coming down on 3 every single time. If it'll go to the 3 spot. Please and thank you. Is this a joke? There we go. Raheem, you are also a 3. Kumar Bonkin, if we're playing you, you are also a 3. So, and then we have, where are you? Orla Challenge, playing that. Test Guard Captain, we're playing that. I like you a lot, so you're going down there. Sagu Archer, I don't know if we need you in the main. Where are we at? So we're at 22. Let's get out of there. Let's see. Pretty light on 5s. That's unfortunate, but it seems like that. Well, let's get a Sagu Archer and then just get something on the 5. And then we can also mainboard the Death Frenzy if we need to. Let's get these lands out of here just because they're messing me up. So we need to make room for get 2 more things in here. So we're 22, 18 lands. It looks like we're heavy on 3s and 4s. 5's pretty weak. 6 looks pretty weak. But I guess these guys flip on 5, so they do kind of fill that 5 spot. What have we got? Run 1 Death Frenzy, why not? Run the Death Frenzy main and another Salt Road Patrol or Sage Eye Harry. No, morphs are always good. The more morphs, the better for the most part. And then let's get our land back in here. 1 Jungle Hollow. And then let's add some basics. And honestly, that looks fine. With the dual land, that pretty much splits it evenly. Of course, yeah, pretty much evenly. It looks like black has a little bit more, but that's probably fine. So let's add those to the deck. And that's what we got. It may not look like much, but I feel pretty good about it. Just having all those Abzan guides is a big game. We have the Abzan Battle Priest, which are dudes freaking rock. Alabaster Kieran's great. Tuskar Captain's great. High Sentinels is insane. High Sentinels is probably going to close out a game for us once, if not multiple times. I should hope. Right of the Serpent's pretty removable, but Throttle's good. Debilitating Injury's good. We didn't get any Smite the Monstrous or kill shots, but I think that's probably fine. With the removal we have, I think we'll be okay. You know, kind of lackluster stuff. Kumar Bonkin's lackluster. Sage Eye Harrier, pretty lackluster. Behemoths are pretty mediocre. Sagu Archers are pretty mediocre. But the rest of the deck, I mean, Sorrow Patrol mediocre as well. But the rest of the deck, I'm pretty confident in it. Abzan has the highest overall win percentage for archetypes in Khans of Tarkir Limited. So hopefully that shines through today and I can get some wins for you. I'm going to go ahead and submit the deck, and I will see you for round 1.